Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. I'm attorney Lee Marvin. And every Monday this time, I go over questions, answers, news pieces, everything related to immigration. And I invite all my friends every week. So this week, we got some special things planned that I want to talk to you guys about. But first off, let's see here. Here we go. Okay, so this week, you probably already know this. I have a free webinar that I'm doing on Wednesday. This Wednesday, which is May 15th at 12:30. That's the lunchtime hour, Eastern Standard Time. That's Detroit time, in case you were wondering. Okay, so I'm doing that webinar, and we've had a ton of people register already. I'm being told that there's a couple spots left. I don't know if it's two. I don't know if it's three or four. I think it's closer to three. But if you have any interest, let me do this. Let me show this very quick. This is what it is. The Fiance and Spouse Green Card webinar that I'm doing Wednesday. So if you have any interest in the information that I'm going to be giving away for free during that webinar, please, you either click on the link, you go to the website, which is marvinlawoffice.com. This little graphic will pop up right away, so you can click on it and you can request attendance, okay? Or info, INFO, at marvinlawoffice.com is the other way for you to get an invitation to this free webinar, okay? So don't forget to hit us up to get the invitation to that, okay? It's going to be very interesting. There's a few spots left, okay? So go ahead and do that. I want to welcome everyone and remind everyone to always put their comments in the comments section so that you can ask questions, you can make comments, anything that you need to know about immigration that I can talk about in this short period of time. Please put your information or your questions in the comments section. So Estelita, hello. How is the Philippines going? Hopefully it's going well for you there. You say good morning. So good morning to you in the beautiful country of the Philippines, okay? Let me go over here to our friends in Instagram, okay? So basically, there's a ton of people on Instagram. There always is. We have a big following on Instagram. Please ask your questions. Ask your questions in the comment, okay? So that's the place that I see your questions so I can answer them and help you figure out what's going on with immigration. Okay, few updates, a few announcements that I wanted to talk about. Let's see. Put in questions. Okay, so questions in the comment section. So basically, you know, I'm talking all about this fiance and spouse visa stuff and the green cards. I'm going to talk about that on Wednesday. I wanted to give a little bit of information away so people kind of knew what to expect and kind of had a taste of what's to come on Wednesday. I always have a ton of questions from people about these processes. They're, without a doubt, the two most popular processes in all of immigration, which is the biggest ports of entry for immigration: fiancé visas and spouse visas or green cards, okay? So basically what we're going to talk about are different questions that people have. I'm going to talk about the processes and basically give you information to help you decide which one is better for you. Because some people are still dating, others are closer to getting married. Some people want to get married in the United States, others want to get married outside the United States. That is what this webinar is all about, okay? So make sure you let us know that you're interested and we will send you an invitation so you can participate, okay? So two things that people have asked me recently in relating to the fiancé visa is, okay, one second here, is people ask about getting married and things like prenuptial agreements, prenups. I had a guy, very nice guy, that we've been communicating back and forth about his process. He wanted to know, what if I got a prenup? Is that smart? Is that bad? Does that create problems for immigration? What do you think, Attorney Marvin? And I told him, I think it's brilliant. Okay. It is not uncommon for people in the United States to want to make sure that they're protecting themselves, because you never know what's going on. People that you know really well enough that you want to marry them, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't protect yourself. Okay. So we talked about that, about the prenup, and whether that's a red flag for immigration. I don't think it is. Okay. Because everything comes down to the relationship and how strong your relationship is, whether the relationship is brand spanking new, whether you've communicated for a while and it's obvious that you've been in a relationship and you want to move forward with your relationship. So the stronger your relationship is, the more things like a prenup is not going to have a negative impact on your case. Okay, so very, very good question that was asked. Another thing people ask very frequently: how many times do I have to visit my significant other that I'm wanting to marry and bring into the United States based on a fiance visa? The law says one time. You have an obligation to prove that you have met in person with the person you're going to marry within 2 years. One time within the 2 years of you filing, okay? So just one time, okay? That is a requirement, okay? That's not to say that just that one time is enough for you to win your case. No, that's just one of the many requirements that you have to show. So that's just a teaser of the sort of things that I'm going to be talking about this Wednesday at the webinar. So check us out. Let us know if you have any interest in that webinar, okay? So another update I wanted to give, okay? So this past Thursday, the Biden administration basically released a new regulation relating to the border, okay? Everybody has been hot over this border stuff, okay, for very good reason, because it's been an absolute epic travesty to the United States, to the different states and cities where throngs of people coming across the border have relocated. It's created lots of problems. The government is finally admitting that it's a massive problem. I know, they don't really have to tell us for us to know what our judgment tells us, that it is a big problem. So Biden finally said, you know what, I'm going to propose this regulation change. Okay. So now the federal government is giving Border Patrol and people that enforce immigration law the power to immediately, that means now, deport people who have recently entered illegally into the country. And again, a reminder, post your questions in the comment section, because that's how I stop yapping and start answering questions. So please post your questions in here so I can answer your questions. That's in the comment section, please. Okay. So going on with this. So immigration is going to have the power to immediately deport people if they've entered the country illegally. It's the answer finally to the border crisis, that Biden is going to let his people have the authority to actually deport people. What people? People that are basically a national security disaster, which is this border problem, okay? National security problems, public safety, okay? Public safety is not just at the border. Public safety is in Chicago and New York, and Denver was another big one. So public safety is a huge concern. If the government is evaluating these people who are coming to allegedly request asylum, if they don't meet the requirements, or the government suspects that they're basically fabricating and committing fraud, they now are going to be given the power to immediately deport these people out of the country. Thank God for that, because as many people that are coming through that really stink and need help, there's about 1,000 more that don't, that are just here because it's a wide open door for anyone to come in and do whatever they want. Okay. So Biden's finally doing this. He's admitting that this is a public safety concern, national security concern. You have such a huge gaping holes at the southern border that people can come in from anywhere on the planet, right? There's a lot of people on this planet that don't necessarily like the United States or like our policies or like how we do things. So they now have the power to get people out. Okay. So that's the biggest update that Biden has released recently. Okay. So now let me go to some of the questions. Okay. My case was sent to the USCIS. A request for initial evidence was sent. What is the next step? Can you help me? So this is for Jamal. So USCIS probably already had your case. If they give you requests for evidence, that means there's some either very important things that are missing or some very basic things that have to be answered in order for the case to move forward. Usually when you get a request for evidence, that means that immigration is at the tail end of their review and they need this information in order to make their decision. So that's usually a very positive thing that you get a request for evidence, unless it's a crazy request that's unnecessary. But time-wise, it usually means that they're toward the end of their review, and that's a very good thing. Okay, so let me go back over here, see what kind of questions we have. Again, please put comments, put questions in comment section, please, so I can answer your questions. Okay, there we go. So let me see what kind of questions I have up here. Let's see here. So Mojo is asking, why do I need to go for fingerprints again after approval of my 797? Good question. I don't know the answer to that. I do know that immigration kind of slaps through things sometimes and they misplace information. So if you've already done it and they're asking for another one, just do it, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. You don't have a choice. It's not necessarily a horrible thing. I don't know why they would ask for 2 biometrics. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I suspect it's government inefficiency, if you want my honest opinion. Okay, so please put your questions in the comments section. I spent 3 weeks and 2 months with my fiance, seeing each other for a longer time. Would it be helpful or better to have many short visits? Jamie, not necessarily. It depends in the span of time. If multiple visits have been done within the last 6 months or a year or even 2 years, technically is not needed. I mean, the more you visit each other, the better and the stronger your case is going to be perceived by the government. But you don't necessarily have to visit every few months. If you have the ability to do it, God bless you for that, and do it if you can. But if you can't, technically 1 time within the last 2 years is what the government requires. Anything more than that is gravy, okay? So let me look here. There's some other questions that were asked earlier. So I wanted to ask or put this in here. This is a common type of question that I get in the fiancé and even the spouse green card processes. I had a relationship with another woman. We have a son together. We finished that relationship before, in this instance, it's 2010. I still take care of our son. He's a U.S. citizen. Can he make a petition for me? Okay. Excellent question. This comes up regularly. Okay. That is there's multiple questions within there, but the question that our friend was asking is whether his son can petition for him. Absolutely. If you are the parent of a U.S. citizen, that U.S. citizen can sponsor you for a green card. Okay. Age has a lot to do with it. The relationship, definitely you have to prove the relationship. I don't know if you had been married to that person before, if you were just in a relationship and you had a child together. So there's definitely hurdles that might have to happen, which is why I encourage people to ask um, to schedule a consultation, and I will put that link in here too, because the answer to the question is absolutely you can be sponsored by that child, but there are things that might have to happen for you to swiftly be able to do it. Okay, so reach out to me, schedule a consultation so I can specifically answer your questions about that. Okay, looks like I got more questions here, so let me go back. Okay, so Estelita, I know you ask a lot of questions every week about this. Your case was at 4 months for a decision, and now it's back to 5 months. It goes back and forth, back and forth. Government inefficiency is the bottom line there. What does it mean? What does it mean for the future process? How quick? It's anyone's guess, because really there is no answer. It's just waiting to see how government processes these things. I will say that typically speaking, when there's a lot of fluctuation, it's largely because people have either filed their own immigration or they had somebody that botched it up, and it just creates havoc. So be patient. If I can answer specific questions about that, you can click on the link and schedule a consultation. I know the time zone in the Philippines is tough. So that might be what's holding you back from scheduling a consultation. But where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so don't give up. Let me see here. Let's see. If you have questions, please put your questions in the comments section. Okay. Let me go back over here to our friends on Instagram, see what we have. Okay, so the question here, can undocumented illegal migrants get a green card by a spouse? Yeah, of course. That's the easy answer. Beyond that, there's a lot of things that need to be done in order for that to happen, okay? Everything depends on the history, depends on the relationship. But the answer to that question is yes, you can absolutely get sponsored and get a green card from your spouse, even if you're in the United States illegally, okay? There's things that are changing. There's other proposals that Biden is hinting toward when it comes to being married to a U.S. citizen. But the answer is yes, it is possible to do that. There's different ways to fix the short-term problem, which is someone who's entered and or lived in the United States without documentation for a while. You probably need to reach out to me, schedule a consultation so I can specifically talk to you about this, because there's way too many possibilities for me to talk about right now. But yes, it is possible, okay? Let's see here. Oh, so this is a question I want to answer. So naturalization, we always get lots of questions about the naturalization process and what people can and can't do. So I had a question. Well, actually, I think it's on here. I could read it. Where was that? Oh, yeah. My husband had his naturalization interview. Yes. And this particular question is from our YouTube channel, okay? I have a lot of videos that I do have on YouTube. So if you don't necessarily want to schedule a consultation with me, if you don't have the ability every Monday to join this live, go to my YouTube channel. Every week I tell people how many, I think I have like over 300 videos on my YouTube channel. I've been doing this for a while, you guys. I have some really great videos. Check it out. It's free. All it takes is your time. So check out my YouTube channel for videos. Okay, let me get back to this question. Husband had his naturalization interview a month ago. Officer gave him a letter saying he passed the exam, but that he must provide more evidence, in this case, child support. Do you know how long it takes for this letter or request for evidence to arrive? We still haven't received it. That was a month ago. You know what? I would say that probably not much longer than a month is all you have to wait. So usually when you get a request for evidence after an interview, it's the local office. Usually they move quicker. So if it's been longer than a month, you might need to reach out to them because that's not typically normal for it to take longer than a month. So you might need to check that out. Typically, it's for my clients, it's 2-3 weeks. It could be a month. You just never know. Okay. So let me go back here. Let's see what kind of questions we have. Again, put your questions in the comments section, please. Okay. What is the new thing about the spouse visa, F2A? So that question comes from us from YouTube. I don't know if that's a reference to something I said in a video. So I don't really have the ability to answer that question. New thing about the spouse visa. That might be something that we talk about on Wednesday during my webinar. And maybe I just need to get a little bit more information from that person who asked the question, okay? So let's see here. Again, I want everyone to be reminded that I have a free webinar this Wednesday at noon, basically 12:30, that I'm going to do. And let me go here so I can show people. Whoops. This is what I'm talking about. Fiance and spouse green card webinar this Wednesday at 12:30. So if you have any interest, reach out to us and let us know if you want to be a part of that webinar, okay? I've got other questions coming through. Let's see. Okay, there's questions on, let's see, YouTube. I'm being told that I need to check that out. All right, let's go here. So there's a question from Ethan. Oh, there we go. Ethan, you answered a question about short visits, but what about longer visits once a year? I can only afford one trip per year at the moment. So I visit my fiance for a couple of months from Scotland. I love Scotland. I haven't been there yet. I've been to, England and Ireland, but not to Scotland yet. Best accents on the freaking planet in Scotland. So Ethan, that's great. That's fantastic. So the minimum requirement is just in person. It could be at an airport somewhere. Usually you want more than that because it is expensive. So Ethan, the longer you do it, the better, because that definitely shows immigration your commitment. You're not going to spend all that money and spend a month at a time or more to visit somebody that you're not really, really interested in marrying and that you have a relationship with, okay? You might not be married yet, but you got a really strong relationship if you're doing that. So that is a wonderful, wonderful example. So the longer, the better. I'm not trying to say that a quick and dirty trip is what you should do necessarily. That's the minimum requirement. If you can do more than that, absolutely, absolutely do that, because it strengthens the relationship. And that's really what this is about, right? It's not about U.S. immigration. It's about that relationship. And U.S. immigration is the way that you guys are going to stay together longer, okay? So Ethan, good luck to you, and thank you for the question, okay? Okay, I've got a question from Jamaica on our YouTube channel here. From Jamaica, my wife is a U.S. citizen. First stage at USCIS. It was on file August of 2023. How many years will it take for the visa appointment? Okay, so U.S. citizen spouse. So your process started in August of 2023. This past August. That's the 8th month right now. You got to be getting pretty close. When I file these for my clients, it typically takes about 10 months for the government to process and approve the I-130, which is the first step. Then they send it to the National Visa Center. Then they send it to the embassy, and that could be another 6 months. So you're right around there, because August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. It's 9 months. You're right in the zone. So stand by. You should be getting something pretty soon for that to be able to move forward to the next phase of the process, okay? So let's see, what else do we have here? Any other questions? Please post questions. Okay, post questions. I can't answer questions unless you guys ask them, okay? Let's see, what did I miss? Anything up here? Let's see. So another few questions I can answer. Prior relation. Okay, I answered that one already. It's kind of, it's like speed dating here, right? I'm trying to get as many interesting questions in here and answered during the period of time that we have allotted to us. Let's see. Okay, let me put in this. Whoops. I'm going to put in this link. So if you need a consultation, because I have got some really good but somewhat complicated questions from people, and in many cases, a consultation is the best way to go about this because I can answer the most questions about you and your situation. So there's the link to that. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, there's the link for you, okay? So let me know if you want to schedule a consultation, okay? So what else do we have? What other question did I want to answer here? So I talked about the new asylum change, the political stuff, fiance, spouse, visa, green card webinar, prior relationship. Can your child sponsor you? Yes. There's things that you might need to do for that. Naturalization. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Let's see, where was it? I don't see it here now. I'm looking at my YouTube channel. I don't see where that question was, but I have a general recollection of what it was. So basically, naturalization process, and the question was about child support, okay? So I answered the question about how long does it take to get that request for evidence, but I didn't answer the question about the information that they're asking. So child support is a big deal, okay? So if somebody's trying to get naturalization, they have to show that they have the character to do it. If you're not paying child support, you ain't got the character for citizenship in the United States, okay? So if you have paid child support and immigration is asking you for proof that you have paid that, it's not a bad thing, right? It's a bad thing because you have to get the information and provide it to them. But if they're asking that question, that's the right kind of question immigration is asking. And that's the kind of stuff we want them to ask because we want our children protected by the people that they rely upon. So if they're asking that question, chances are it's going to take a few weeks to get that RFE. You've got to provide that information to immigration to convince them or to show them that you are worthy of citizenship in the United States and you have the good moral character for that, okay? Let's see. A lot of the questions that I'm overlooking here are questions about timing, okay? There's always tons of questions about how long do I have to wait, what's next. There's a lot of this stuff that depends on where you are, what service center you're in, what state you're in, and generally speaking, what process, right? Because not everyone is filing for a green card. Some people have other processes that they're doing, and the waiting periods are different depending on the process and the relationship, okay? So those sorts of questions are better for consultations because I can actually answer the question instead of just speaking generally, okay? Let's see. I've got another question. On USCIS, the case decision says it's saying 1 week for my decision for my wife to travel here about 9 times. She's going to be here in June. Does that strengthen our case? 100%. Absolutely. Anytime your spouse or fiance, if you can visit each other, either here in the United States or overseas, absolutely strengthens your case. Because again, why would you spend thousands of dollars to visit someone if you weren't very much dedicated to them, in love with them, and wanting to move forward with them? So every time you do that, huge benefit to your case. Immigration is highly unlikely that they are going to invalidate a request if you visited many times. Okay, so the more the better. Absolutely. Okay. So let's see what else here. Let me go to Instagram, see who we have on Instagram. Welcome everyone from Instagram. We always have lots of friends from Instagram. If you have questions, please post your questions, okay, in the comments section so I can answer them, okay? I see a lot of our friends here that are here every week. So again, welcome back and thank you for your support and for coming and asking me questions, okay? So post questions. So some other questions that I had on YouTube. Let me look here real quickly. Okay, I've been in a toxic or abusive relationship, and I only have proof of text messages, but I went to therapy. Is this a case for U visa? Okay, so if you've been in a toxic relationship with a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident, they were abusive to you, then you do have the ability to do either a U visa or a VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, VAWA. If you've been in one of those relationships, you can absolutely petition for a U visa or a VAWA to be able to get protection through immigration, okay? So the strength of your case, I can't really say based on that question that I got on YouTube. But the thing is, the more information you have about your relationship, the better, okay? Is it possible to get approval with just one or two things? Yeah, depends what it is, okay? So again, why don't you go ahead and schedule a consultation with me, okay? So this particular question, and this question actually was asked a few days ago, so this person might not be on right now, but that goes for anyone who's watching, okay? Because a lot of these questions, it's important enough for you to ask me so I can help you figure out how to get your approval, because it is something that it takes the exact specific way that immigration wants to see something in order for them to approve it. So again, schedule a consultation, please. What else do we have here? Okay, man, oh man, time flies when you're having fun. It is 8:33, so I'm gonna cut this. Well, it's not short. I'm cutting it off now because I want to see you guys on Wednesday. So let us know if you want to be a part of that webinar. I want to see you next Monday as well, 8:30 Eastern time. Thank you for everyone who joined us. Let us know if you have any questions. Have a wonderful night.